Hi everyone. So today I'm going to show you how to make a calendula infused oil. Calendula is a wonderful natural remedy that can be used for soothing dry skin, for rashes, for scrapes. You can also do it or use it for skincare products, do-it-yourself things like lotions and salves and balms. And the best part is it's super easy to make at home. I forgot what the best part was. So here's what you'll need. Dried calendula, and it does take a fair bit of dried calendula. So if you don't have enough, and I don't often have enough using what's just in my garden, so you can also buy some dried calendula from your local health food store. So with the calendula, it's important that it's dried. And when you're making an infused oil, whatever plant you use or flower part that you use, it's important that it's dry. Remember, you're putting this into an oil base, and so oil and water don't really mix very well, so it needs to be dry. If you used fresh petals, then you would land up having some mold issues in your infused product. So a carrier oil, so it can be the carrier oil of your choice. I like to use, this is organic extra virgin olive oil. Doesn't have a scent to it. It's very nice on the skin, and it has a really long expiry date. So that's good for you in terms of the length of time that you can have your infused oil before you need to toss it. You might have another favorite oil, sweet almond or sunflower, something like that. You can use them, just be aware of the expiry date on those. You need a clean, sterilized jar with a tight lid. So canning jars fit perfectly for that. So a tight lid, and I've already cleaned and sterilized it. And you need some way to filter out your oil from the plant material when you're done. So a strainer is good, but this one's not very tight. And so within the dried plant, sometimes there's little bits, even some seeds. So you don't want those kind of floating around in the bottom of your oil. So I find a coffee filter is really good for getting out even the fine stuff. All right, pretty simple, right? So now we're going to prepare the jar and the oil with the plant material. I'm going to move my strainer out of the way, get my jar over here. And what we like to do, or what I like to do, what's sort of commonly done, is to fill the jar halfway with your dried material. So let me start filling this, and you'll see it's amazing how much it takes. Don't tamp it down. Just leave it loose like that, because you want the oil to be able to get between the dried plant material. If you tamp it down, it'll pack it, and the oil won't be able to get to it. So about half a jar is what I usually use of the dried material. And so you can see it does take quite a bit. Okay, so there's my dried material, well, roughly half a jar. And now I'm going to add the oil, and what we're going to do with the oil is to make sure that it covers the plant material completely. You don't want any of the plant material kind of poking up, because then it's almost like a wick and can potentially spoil your infusion. So pouring my oil in, and again we want to make them completely immersed, and hopefully I have enough oil. I didn't think to measure my oil. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna go and get another bottle. All right, so I scurried off and got another bottle of my extra virgin olive oil, organic. So again, let's pour it in. So, now I'm just going to use my little poker here. This is just a barbecue skewer, just to kind of poke it down and Make sure that the oil is going all the way through. Make sure there's no air bubbles. And make sure it's gone all the way down to the bottom. That's what you want. Okay, so it is covering the top. I might add just a tad more just to make sure it's well covered. That should do it. Now once it sits, it will start to drop down a bit too and get underneath the oil. All right, so we've added our dried material. We've added our oil that we're going to use. This was an extra virgin olive oil. It was half full with the dried material and then the oil to cover and make sure that there's some extra room at the top. Some people prefer a more precise measurement rather than just doing half a jar and covered with oil. So if you prefer a precise measurement, you can use the ratio of 1 ounce of dried flowers to 10 ounces of oil. That would be the ratio that you would use. All right, so there's several ways to infuse plant material into an oil. There's the hot method and the cold method. So with the cold method, obviously there's no heat involved. You're going to put the plant material into the oil. And my favorite cold method is something that's called the simpler method or the folk method. So in my grandmother's day, having a stove going wasn't efficient. And so they would just take the oil and put it on a sunny shelf, and it would sit there for 4 to 6 weeks. So if I use the cold method or the folk method, so I've got my oil, I've got my plant material, I'm going to put the lid on, make sure it's tight, and I'm going to go sit it on my windowsill for 4 to 6 weeks. Now, you don't want to open up the jar during those 4 to 6 weeks. You're just going to give it a little stir like this just to make sure that, the oil is getting through, the material underneath is also getting the oil, and get it mixed up a little bit. So the sun does all the work with that one. All right, so the second method is called the hot infusion method for obvious reasons. All right, so with the hot infusion method, some people use that when they're short on time. They don't want to wait 4 to 6 weeks for the oil to sit in the sunny window, so they move to the hot infusion method. So with this, you're going to put the jar in a saucepan, lid on. You're going to put enough water to come up to where your oil level is here in the saucepan. You're going to keep it on low heat, and this is going to take about 2 to 4 hours. So that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to put this into my warm water. Can't be super hot, because then you're going to destroy all those benefits that you want infused in this oil. So not hot, not boiling, just warm water, low heat for a couple of hours, 2 to 4 hours. I like to keep mine to 4 hours because I want to make sure I've got as much infused as possible. There we go. Be back in a minute. All right, so I'm back, and my oil and plant material has been sitting in the warm water for about 3 hours. So now I'm going to take it off, and we're going to bring it over here, and we're going to strain it. So one of the things you should see, if you know you've got a good oil, is it a nice golden color, and this one certainly has got lots of color in it. So that's a good sign. It did what it was supposed to do in terms of infusing into the olive oil. And it has a very nice scent to it. It almost smells like vanilla. Yummy. All right, so again, I'm using a coffee filter just so I can get all the little tiny particles in there. By using a coffee filter, it is going to mean it's going to slowly go through there. If I had not used the coffee filter, it would have gone through pretty fast, but I prefer to have it go slowly. So I'm just going to pour it in. You can only do so much. And is there a clear spot? Yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but it's starting to drip through. Still maintaining its nice gold color, so that's awesome. When we get more plant material, it'll take even longer to get through the filter here. If it gets too clogged, I may actually just take this filter out and put a new filter in just to speed it up a bit. And then I can squeeze what's left in the filter into the bowl there, just to make sure I get every valuable, precious drop. I'm not going to pour any more in yet because you can see this has got a lot more of the petals in it, so that's going to slow it down even more. I'm going to let this go through first as much as it can. All right, so welcome back. So I have finished infusing the calendula oil petals, or the calendula petals, through into what we have as a nice portion of oils here. So that process from when we started straining to this took 40 minutes. So just that you know the timing of the process. So I've got 2 cups here based on the measurements on this measuring cup. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some of it into this little jar that I've labeled with Calendula Infused Oil, June 2025. And I have a friend that wants this, so I'm going to give her some of this, of the oil. I've got another jar here, and this is actually the more proper way to label it. So I have Calendula Infused Oil and Infused in Olive Oil, July 16th, and I used the hot infusion method. So that's for me to know what I did and how I used it. So I'm going to just pour some off in here and seal it. And then I do have other jars as well. I like to keep it in a smaller jar because then I'm not opening it and exposing them to the air and possibly losing some of their benefits. So again, this is the jar I'm giving to the friend. So a small amount, just going to pour it off in here. All right, there we go. So beautiful calendula infused oil. And remember, we used extra virgin olive oil that was organic. And got a little lid here for it. Number 1 done. And now pour this one out too. So once you've got it jarred, then you want to think about where you're going to store it, and the best place to store it is in a cool, dark place. You can store it in the fridge, but then it will go solid, semi-solid. And so if you want to use it, to be making things, then you want to just keep it in a cool, dark place. I'm going to be taking mine, and one of my favorite things to make is lip balm. So I'm going to be making some lip balm with mine, and stay tuned. There'll be another video coming out showing you how to make some calendula infused lip balms. All right, so I poured it into my jar. Now what do I do with it? Well, to store it, you're going to put the lid on it, and you're going to put it in a cool, dark place. The way it is right now, if it is in a cool, dark, stored in a cool, dark place, then it's going to have a shelf life of about 1 year. Now, if you want to use it for something, you can use it just the way it is. If you've got, right now for us it's summertime, so this is a great time to actually be using the oil as it is. If you've got a sunburn, it's going to help relieve some of that. If you've got an itch from a mosquito bite or something, you can use it on that, or even dry skin if you've just been out digging in the garden and you've got the hands all chapped and roughed up. So you can use the oil just as it is, or you can take the infused oil and make another product if you want to make a lip balm or a healing salve or a lotion. I know a friend of mine actually even puts a little bit on her hands and puts it in her hair after it's been washed, and she says it helps to make the hair, give it a little bit of a gloss, and keeps it from drying out. So lots of ways to use it, and it's been fun teaching this to you. I hope you try it out yourself and enjoy some Calendula infused oil or other products. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave any comments. What did you think of the video? Is there something I can do to improve it? Or maybe are there some other videos you'd like to see? Let me know and I'd be happy to get to it. So take care and happy foraging.